Cairns. It's a small city in northern Australia, and it's kind of like the last stop for civilization before it just turns all wild. Remember, because Australia is in the southern hemisphere, the further north you go, the more jungly and tropical and hot and sticky it gets. So we went to Cairns because we really wanted to see the nature and explore. We went
the Great Barrier Reef.
Yes, the Great Barrier Reef is like one of the biggest things to do out there. It's just right off the coast of Cairns. So we went up, we spent 2 weeks there, we rented a car for the entire time. The first place we stayed at, we did Airbnb for both the places. The first place we stayed at was more budget friendly. We were there for 10 nights, and it's kind of bungalow style. So it was shaded outdoor cooking, shaded outdoor seating, kind of like back porch style. And the guest room...
No AC.
Yeah, no AC. The guest room itself had no screen to separate the bugs from the outside and the inside. It just had shutters. But if you turned on the fan on full blast and then you kept mosquito coil running whenever you were there, the temperature wasn't too bad and the bugs weren't too bad. It was just a little disconcerting at night for the possibility for big bugs to fly in like they did once or twice.
Yeah, there's a big bug that flew in your face, or my face.
And woke up at least a couple of times with like spiders in the room.
I couldn't sleep very well. But it was a really pretty place.
And we never got bit by anything.
Bugs.
At night it was kind of cool because there was geckos on the roof and they would eat the bugs. And there was like a tree frog that would eat the bugs. And there was a praying mantis who was picking up the bugs from the light. It was cool, and it was really, you felt with part of nature. There's a kookaburra in the backyard who would kind of live in the tree there, who would make his kookaburra noises. Anyways, it suited its purpose. It was cheap and it was well located, so we can get to lots of many places. Our second place we stayed at, so we were at the first place for 10 days. The second place we were there for 4 days, and it was a lot more luxurious. Had AC, ensuite bathroom, its own ensuite like little kitchenette area.
And there's a river you could go to, or a stream.
There's platypus in it, but we never saw a platypus. But we did see a river eel, and a turtle bit my toe. Anywho, the second place was super duper nice, but it was also a lot more expensive. If you're curious, the first place we stayed at 10 nights was $552 for that stay. That breaks down to about $27.50 per person per night. The other place we stayed at for 4 nights was $304, which breaks down to $38 per person per night. The last part was kind of more vacation-y for us, I guess. Also, the rental car. So we rented a car in Cairns. Unless you are coming to Cairns just to do the Great Barrier Reef and stay in town, you really do need a car to get around to see any of the crazy, amazing waterfalls or go to Cape Tribulation or anything like that, the Daintree Rainforest. Well, first of all, when you're not in a U.S. country, they mostly call it hiring a car, which from my point of view, it would sound like you're hiring a driver or something like that. But renting a car is hiring a car. They don't call insurance, they call insurance excess. One of the surprises about hiring a car in Australia was that the excess was so expensive. So for the 2 weeks that we were there, we got a really small kind of just budget car to get around. It cost about $201 for 14 days, which I thought was a pretty good deal. But when I was at the counter paying and they brought up the insurance ended up being $199 for the $201 rental. With how they had things set up, if there was one bit of damage on the vehicle, we would have to pay for whatever the cost of the repair was, and that kind of seemed really sketchy to me. I'd much rather just pay the stupid $200 insurance and be completely covered. So even if a tree fell on the car in the middle of the night, we were safe or something, whatever. So what did we do when we were there?
Well, I was really excited to go see animals and nature, and so we went to see some waterfalls and drove to different hikes.
We did a day trip just driving around. There's kind of a circuit you can do with all these really amazing waterfalls, and you can go swimming and get under the waterfalls and get some really gorgeous photos. There's really more waterfalls than you have time for in a single day trip, and some of them you could slide down the rocks. Remember that? Mm-hmm. That was fun.
streams and
It was
waterfalls.
fairly hot, and like we said, we didn't have AC for the first 10 days, so every day we tried to get out to some water feature to get in it and go swimming.
Yeah, because we were hot.
One of the reasons also why we did things that were a little bit more inland, like rivers and waterfalls and whatnot, was that there was little to no risk of any saltwater crocodiles. There might have been a small risk for freshwater crocodiles, but those aren't the big nasty ones that'll eat you and drag you under and yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to risk it.
The salties, they hang out near the coast. We also didn't do much in the way of beach water activities because it was stinger season. Stingers are jellyfish, and they have some really nasty ones up there, and like it'll put you in the hospital if you get stung. Box jellyfish, I think is what it's called. They've only got like 5 months out of the year where you can go in the water and not be worried about the jellyfish. We also took a day trip up to the Daintree Rainforest, and more specifically, we went up to Cape Tribulation. It was kind of a far drive, but it was well worth it. I think it was at least 3 hours of driving to get up there. And you know you're just driving off into the wilderness because like there's one point where there's not even a bridge to get across the river. You just hop on a ferry and the ferry takes you over, and then you just keep driving. And you know that there's like the further out you go, there's just zero civilization. But Cape Tribulation in and of itself was an amazing place. We actually went there twice. Watch out for crocs. One of the things that you see when you start getting up there are all these signs warning of Cassowary Crossing. And a cassowary is a big ostrichy kind of bird, but a lot meaner looking. It's got a blue head, and it's got like a bill on top of its head. It looks like a dinosaur. And they're really mean. They've been known to attack humans and potentially disembowel them if they are protecting their young. They've attacked cars. So we really wanted to see a cassowary because that sounded exciting. And on the way back, so we did a whole amazing day trip around Cape Tribulation, no cassowary, but we were driving back and we saw something moving in the bushes. We're like, oh, maybe that's it. And we'd like creep our car forward. There's like nobody else around, so we're just like creeping in the middle of the road. And sure enough, like out comes a cassowary, but then it also has a baby next to it. And like when they have a baby next to them, that's when they're supposed to be super duper dangerous.
It's so rare just to see one.
There's only like 1,000 of them in the wild in Australia or something like that. So the fact that we saw a real life one in the wild made us feel super special.
Doesn't the dad take care of the baby?
Right, yeah. So it's the dad bird who takes care of the baby, and he's the one that's hyper aggressive. So we were like creeping along in the car trying to film and take pictures but not be too blatant and obvious, and we got some photos. He didn't really seem all that upset with us being there, but we also didn't want to get out of the car. We went to a saltwater crocodile farm. It's not really myth and legend the size of some of these things. They're huge.
Because when the age peaks, it's when basically
Very nice, Spartacus, very nice. So even these big guys can still be quite agile, alright? They can still get a lot of their body out of the water. Yeah, come on, boy. Come on, get up there. Good start, Spartacus. Nice, nice. Chook, you see? Oh, what's this, boy? There you go. What's this? What's this? Chicken. What's this? Yeah, no. Alright. No, this way, boy. Come on, mate. What's this, boy? Up. Chicken. Chicken. You're playing this silly bugger game for, mate. What's this? That's the way. What's this, boy? Up you get. Up you get. There we go. Come round here and you can have a bit, Turbo. Come on. Come on. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Now what he's doing now, see how he's got his eyes and nose, well he did, just had his eyes, ears and nose out of the water. We call that a minimum exposure posture. They do have highly tuned sensors on their head. They got highly tuned sensors on their head, very, very good sense of hearing, very, very good sense of smell. They can smell water from like 5 kilometres away, and their eyesight is really, really good, especially in low light conditions.
And so, when you're around, you see these signs with like a crocodile head on them saying like, "Warning, do not swim here. You could die." We took them seriously because we were freaked out every time we saw one of those signs, especially after going to the croc farm. We went to a animal zoo. We got to pet and feed kangaroos.
I got to hold a koala, which I've always wanted to do. I couldn't hold it for very long. It got some claws, so be careful.
Kind of sits there.
Yeah, it just sits there, but it was cute. It was exciting.
Got to see all sorts of other Australian things. Feed an emu from my hand. That was and parrots. There are lots of parrots. Owls? They had owls, remember? Oh, they did a bird show. Remember the bird show? And they showed us like magpies are these super smart birds that can be trained, are also known to be aggressive towards humans if they're protecting their young. Australia is like a dangerous place for all sorts of animals. That's where crocodiles, cassowary, magpies, stonefish, stingers, sharks, triggerfish. Even the plants there. They have this one plant called, I'll put it on the screen. And if you touch it, it hurts so bad that you'll double over and can vomit from the pain, and the pain can last months and months.
We did our PADI certifications in Hawaii when we lived there. We decided to do a scuba day trip with the dive master for the Great Barrier Reef.
And that cost about $500 for the two of us to go out. It was well worth it though.
I was really nervous because we haven't done it in 2.5 years. I think I cried before I went. But I got more comfortable with it and it was really fun.
Our GoPro wasn't really working then, unfortunately, which was a big bummer. But they had a professional photographer and he got a couple shots of us. Other noteworthy things. The bats. The bats were noteworthy. They were like massive, flying, like they're the size of cats, but then you put big wings on them and they just fly through the sky. And you think that they would like disappear during the day, but they're actually just in the trees right in downtown Cairns, and they're just there, awake, doing their bat things, hanging upside down. Noisy. In summary, Cairns is an amazing place to explore. It's nature.
One of my favorite places.
Yeah, very picturesque. Australia is an amazing place, and we definitely want to go back and visit more.
Please like and subscribe. More videos coming soon.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for Australia.